event, the World Grand Prix Final at the Tokyo Dome. K1 is going into future shock with devastating new talent. With the most sensational fight action on the globe, K1 is generating new elite fighters at a dizzying rate. It's the fastest evolving, most artful, most deadly, most awe-inspiring fusion of fight styles, and it's all defined by the fiercest competitors on the planet, clashing under the martial arts code of honor and respect. The World Grand Prix Finals pits 8 men in a single elimination tournament. The man who stands victorious will have gotten past the 3 fighters in his path. Last year, Holland's Remy Bonjasky was the last man standing in Tokyo Dome, and as defending champion, he gets an automatic berth into the final 8. At K1's final elimination in September, the 14 men battling for the other 7 slots were pitted against each other in single elimination super bouts. The 7 winners would move on, while the 7 losers would go home. The results indeed proved that new blood has arrived. Here are the men that have made it to Tokyo Dome. Ernesto Hoost. He's perhaps K1's living legend. The only 4-time world champion. Now he looks to make it a Fab 5. Sefo, one of the most revered fighters in the world. But the K1 world crown has eluded him his entire career. Could this finally be his time? Aerts, 3-time world champion and a legend in his own right. Does the Dutch lumberjack have another championship in him? Musashi, last year's runner-up, is back for the 3rd straight year. Can he become Japan's first K1 world champion? Mighty Mo. In his rookie year in K1, Mighty Mo has been nothing short of spectacular. His iron fist and hard-nosed style have made everyone take notice. And now he has a chance to be the first American to wear the K1 crown. Francois Botha. Amazingly, the White Buffalo's first K1 victory came at final elimination. And now the South African boxer turned K1 fighter gets his shot at the ultimate prize. Kaoklai Kaennorsing. At just 170 pounds, this unorthodox Thai fighter is the lightest man ever to make it to the final 8. Can his heart be large enough to survive? Remy Bonjasky, the 2003 world champion, is also perhaps the most exciting fighter in the world right now. His dazzling displays of athleticism and agility could mean back-to-back titles. The first round matchups have already been decided, and here's what they look like. Kaoklai Kaennorsing will take on Mighty Mo. Musashi faces Sefo in a rematch of a first-round bout from last December that Musashi won by decision. Aerts takes on Francois Botha in an interesting contrast of styles. And in a match that could be a main event in any arena, 4-time world champion Ernesto Hoost takes on fellow countryman and defending champion Remy Bonjasky. Tokyo Dome and Japan's capital city, this is K1's 2004 World Grand Prix Final. I'm Lon McCarron along with Mike Sawyer, getting set for the culmination of a 12-month trek of K1 fighters fighting all around the world. Tonight, the final 8 men enter the arena. One will walk away and stand heads above the rest as a K1 World Grand Prix 2004 champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the world-famous Tokyo Dome, here in one of the greatest cities in the world, Tokyo, Japan. Welcome to the K1 World Grand Prix Championship 2004. So now for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Let's get ready to rumble!
We are ready now for our first quarterfinal of the night. It's the Bone Crusher versus the Killer Bee. The face-off between Mighty Mo and Kaoklai Kaennorsing is one of the most fascinating clashes of the moment. These two K1 rookies have sparked a sensation, and now they're generating double the hype with their pairing in the World Grand Prix. K1 has never had a problem satisfying the fans' appetite for battering ram blows and stunning knockouts. In his first year with K1, American Mighty Mo gave them plenty to chew on. He quickly generated a fearful presence, and it's all about the remarkable power he holds in his fists. Mighty Mo made his first splash by giving Carter Williams a taste of his own medicine. A left hook sent the defending K1 USA champion staggering into the ropes. Mighty Mo followed that shot up with a flurry of punches that put Williams on the canvas. In August of this year, the boxer and Muay Thai artist, a native Samoan who moved to the USA as a child, captured his first ever K1 tournament championship. He defeated 3 straight opponents in Las Vegas. First was Sergey Gur of Belarus. And then his right hand floored fellow American Scott Lighty, and Breck Collins of Belgium was his victim in the final. At final elimination, Mighty Mo was paired up with bruiser Gary Goodridge, and the results were explosive. Kaoklai Kaennorsing has got to be wondering how he can possibly dispatch this tough man. At barely 170 pounds, the Muay Thai technician is the lightest competitor in the history of K1 super heavyweight division. Like Mighty Mo, Kaennorsing is still in his debut year of K1 competition. The Thailand native made quick work in his debut Grand Prix appearance in Seoul, Korea in July. He showed that size doesn't always matter, and that with superior conditioning on his side, he could hammer his way to victory. He also set a record. At 20 years of age, Kaennorsing became the youngest ever fighter to win a K1 tournament. On September 25th, Kaoklai Kaennorsing continued his brilliant run by pulling off the biggest upset of the year against one of K1's big guns, Belarusian Alexei Ignashov. The Thai fighter gave up 70 pounds to the Red Scorpion. A hit-and-run strategy showcased his incredible balance and stopped Ignashov from bringing the fight to the tie. Mighty Mo has a whopping 100-pound advantage over Kaoklai Kaennorsing. He'll need more than that to put away this dangerous new contender. We are ready for our first quarterfinal matchup. The United States fighter Mighty Mo taking on Thailand's Kaoklai Kaennorsing. Mighty Mo trying to be the first U.S. winner of this event.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the K1 World Grand Prix Championship Tournament to begin. This is our first quarterfinal match. From the blue gate, here is Mighty Mo!
What a scene to be part of all of this K1 spectacular event here at Tokyo Dome. But for a young fighter like Mighty Mo to be actually a part of it and a chance to make K1 history, it's got to be overwhelming for this young fighter, Mike.
Well, it certainly is, and the first time that you're in the Tokyo Dome with 72,000 fans cheering you on or cheering your opponent on, it's quite an experience. Mighty Mo, in just his first year of K1 fighting, has an opportunity few fighters ever get a chance for, and he looks like and talks like he's ready to make the most of it.
Mighty Mo won battle at Bellagio 3 on August 7th. And that got him into final elimination, which was in September. He won his fight there against Gary Goodridge, and here he is at the pinnacle event of K1.
One of the qualities he has is one that everyone likes in a fighter. He knocks people out. his win over Gary Goodridge from 925, September 25th, a TKO in the 3rd round. Earlier this year, knocked out Carter Williams, the other favorite American fighter, back at the Bellagio in Las Vegas in April. And he also knocked out Hiraku Hori in Okinawa back in February.
And now from the red gate, Kaoklai Kaennorsing.
Yes, he is as small as he looks, 174 pounds. Kaoklai Kaennorsing, 21 years old, the lightest fighter ever to fight here in the K1 World Grand Prix, which normally is reserved for fighters 200 pounds and heavier, but do not let his slight stature fool you. He is packed full of power and ready for bear.
A little bit of an unknown quantity, Lon. Just started in K1 fighting in July of this year. He won the event in Seoul, knocked out 2 decision wins and knocked out Dennis Kang in that event. Then came on strong on September 25th, taking out, believe it or not, Alexei Ignashov, one of the all-time favorites in this type of fighter, taking him out by a majority decision. What we hear about Kaoklai is that he is a very tough guy, very well conditioned, and at only 21 years old, very experienced, having had about 75 fights under his belt already.
No, we talked about the burden of Mighty Mo trying to become the first fighter for the United States to win this event. When you think of kickboxing, you think of Muay Thai fighting, you have to think about Thailand. But Kaoklai is the first Thai fighter ever in this World Grand Prix final, and what a burden, but what a support staff he has back in Thailand trying to get this man through to a championship. Kaoklai is his name, and as is tradition with Thai fighters, their last name is taken from the gym that they work at, hence Kaoklai Kaennorsing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is quarterfinal match number 1. K1 rules apply, 3 rounds of combat. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with silver letters. Official weight, 132 kilograms. His record, 25 victories. Only 2 defeats with 20 knockouts. From San Bernardino, California, USA, the Las Vegas K1 World Grand Prix 2004 champion, the Samoan Muhammad Mighty Mo. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with multicolors, official weight 79 kilograms. His record, 4 victories with 1 draw. His Muay Thai record, 47 victories, 22 defeats with 2 even. He's the Muay Thai Super Welterweight Champion and Seoul, Korea K1 2004 Champion, the pride of Thailand, Kaoklai Kaennorsing.
Let's have a good free fight. Corner.
The final instructions have been given. Mighty Mo, 34 years old from the U.S., and Kaoklai Kaennorsing ready to do battle.
Interesting thing in this fight, Lon, is how Kaoklai handles the knee rules. You cannot strike pulling the opponent's head down into the knee, although that is a rule that is interpreted by each referee as to whether that's really a pull down or it's an upward strike with the knee. But knees are a favorite of the Thai fighters. We'll see how Kaoklai handles it under these rules.
We do have 4 quarterfinal matchups, 2 semifinals, and then the championship. The winner of tonight's K1 World Grand Prix event will have fought and won 3 separate times. An amazing, amazing venture it is for any of these K1 fighters, and we are ready to go. Mighty Mo on the right of your screen, the much bigger fighter. 290 pounds to Kaoklai's 174 pounds.
Kaoklai has given up 116 pounds, but Mighty Mo has given up 13 years. 34 versus 21.
It's amazing that you have a fighter the size of Kaoklai here in these Grand Prix finals. Mighty Mo, of course, known for his huge punching power. The big right hand can take out anybody, and there he tries to end this right away. And now Kaoklai with the gloves lands a couple of quick punches, and the question may be how much punishment can Mighty Mo take. We have not really seen him be tagged too much. We saw back in May at Bellagio, Dewey Cooper beat him.
Well, Mighty Mo is an enormous puncher. Just everything is strong coming out of his punching arsenal. He doesn't jab and go for 3 or 4 punch combinations. Everything is hard and heavy, and he takes out most people that get within range of those punches. It's going to have to be Kaoklai's speed that keeps him in this fight.
Mighty Mo and his trainer Eddie Millis have known for a while who they were going to meet here and have been working on Mighty Mo's speed, trying to cut off the ring.
Just like that, roundhouse kick to the face by Kaoklai. Most Thai fighters keep him down to the legs or the midsection, but it's obvious he's going to try to get both of those gloves.
Oh, great kick to the midsection of Mighty Mo by Kaoklai. Kaoklai is a Thai fighter through and through, except for the fact that they do start rather slowly, but here at K1, you cannot start slowly. You have to get right off the button and get attacking your opponent. That's exactly what Kaoklai is doing.
You can see the influence or the changes really in Kaoklai's style from the strict Muay Thai. You and I have been to Bangkok, Lon, and we've seen it firsthand. They stay in the middle of the ring. They go straight on. He is moving around. He's circling Mighty Mo, trying not to get the ring cut off, trying not to be in range of those big punches.
Now, smart fighter, too, staying out of range of Mighty Mo so far. And in close is not where Kaoklai wants to be. A lot of Thai fighters find success in tight, being able to throw those knee strikes to the kidney over the course of a long fight, but it's not a long fight here. And a flying knee strike. Both fighters go down. It looks like Mighty Mo is hurt.
Mighty Mo came right into that kick to the head. He is not going to get up. Not going to make it.
Amazing turn of events here. Kaoklai, Kaennorsing. The fight is gone. The fight is over.
Mighty Mo, one of the favorites here tonight. The winner of Battle of the Bellagio 3 is down and out in the first round.
Amazing. The two fighters came together at the middle of the canvas. Kaoklai had an agenda. He landed that knee square on the head of Mighty Mo, and Mighty Mo never could get up.
Mighty Mo was going to try to counter the kick when it came in, and he moved in, apparently never saw how quickly that roundhouse kick was going to hit him in the head, and he just took it full on the left side of his temple. That kick would have taken anybody down.
We'll have to see the replay to see exactly what happened. It all came together in a flash, but the best thing that could have happened for Kaoklai is to win this early, and that's exactly what he did. Here it comes in. Oh, and he got him with the calf.
Actually, the shin hit him right on the side of the head.
Yep.
We thought it was more of a knee, but it was a roundhouse kick. You can see, and he came back over his head afterwards. You can see how Mighty Mo was going to try to counter with the big right hand. He's starting to step in, and as he sometimes does, he dropped that left hand, swinging the right, and that's a mistake that will cost him a shot at this championship.
And the attack that Kaoklai came in with is exactly as it was planned. He knew what he was doing the whole time. 100% force, 100% open lane to the head, on the shin. Kaoklai Kaennorsing with a huge initial upset here in quarterfinal number 1. An amazing performance from the smallest fighter ever to fight here at the K1 World Grand Prix. So quarterfinal number 1 out of the way. Next up, Sefo. The decider, New Zealander Ray Sugarfoot Sefo and Japan's Musashi have met twice now. The score, New Zealand 1, Japan 1. Understandably, they're both itching to bring some closure to this unfinished business. Both are darlings of the Japanese public, so the Tokyo Dome will be electric when these two enter. Born Akio Mori, Musashi was later renamed after 17th century samurai Musashi Miyamoto, who remained undefeated in combat throughout his lifetime. It's the speed of Musashi's kicks that are said to resemble the great sword fighter's chopping technique. During last December's Tokyo Dome extravaganza, Musashi broke through the ceiling of national dominance into the top flight of international K1 stars. He reached the first World Grand Prix Finals championship round of his career by earning judges' decisions over Sefo and Aerts, and finished runner-up to Remy Bonjasky. His entry into this lineup was at the expense of the formidable Frenchman Cyril Abidi at final elimination. Since he emerged on the K1 scene 9 years ago, Sefo has remained one of the most potent forces on the tournament circuit. 2000 was a breakthrough year for the fighter. He reached the World Grand Prix Finals at Tokyo Dome and steamrolled over Musashi and Cyril Abidi before a judge's decision gave his final match to Ernesto Hoost. At 33 years of age, Sefo has thrown off the ill health that dogged him in last year's final. He's coming back into this event in top physical form. Now 35 pounds leaner, this professional boxer and Muay Thai kickboxer is on another roll and as viable a contender as ever. After scoring a second-round knockout of 360-pound Bob the Beast Sapp in June this year, Sefo put away American Marvin the Beastman Eastman in an August K1 USA Super Fight. And at final elimination, Sefo completed his return trip to Tokyo Dome with a unanimous decision over Hiromi Amada. We are ready now for quarterfinal number 2. Japan's favorite son, Musashi, taking on Sefo of New Zealand, each looking for their first World Grand Prix final title.
And now the K1 tournament continues. From the blue gate, Musashi.
There is Musashi, the best hope to have a champion from the home of K1 win it all. He has a 4-year reign as the best Japanese K1 fighter, but is yet to break through to become a champion here, Mike.
Yeah, the last 4 years, Ron, have been frustrating for Musashi. Every year he's won all his events in Japan. There's nobody that can touch him in his home country, and he loses at the Grand Prix. Last year, he lost in the finals to Bonjasky. This is his year, he says. This is the year he's going to do it, and it's going to start with Sefo tonight.
Musashi shows tremendous heart and stamina. He can absorb, as we've seen through the years, a lot of punishment. I love his leg kicks. Very strong, very powerful.
Took the name of Japan's most famous swordsman of all time, Musashi. He was born Akio Mori, but he took that name after being told that his kicks resembled the sword slashes of legend from the legendary Musashi.
From the ring game, Prix, Sugarfoot Sefo!
Coming from the ring game, Prix, Sugarfoot
Perhaps the greatest K1 fighter never to have won this Grand Prix final championship, Ray Sefo of New Zealand.
2 times he's been the bridesmaid at the wedding. In 0-0, he came in runner-up to Ernesto Hoost, and then again in 0-2, second to Ernesto Hoost here at the Grand Prix. Ray Sefo has got to do it. He's got to do it now. He's 33 years old. This is the big night for him. It's time.
Sefo is blessed with the ability to punch and more so take a punch, but so far it has not taken him to the top. He has rededicated himself to K1 and earning a championship. He has had questionable conditioning of the last couple of years, but he's turned things around mentally and physically coming into tonight's final here in Tokyo Dome. He lost to Musashi last year in the first round. This is a matchup of that.
Last year he was ill before the Musashi fight. He was out of shape. He was too heavy. He's a trim 235 at 6 feet this year. He's ready to go.
3 rounds, K1 tournament rules. This is quarterfinal match number 2. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing silver trimmed with blue, official weight 100.5 kilograms. His record, 35 victories, 19 defeats, with 11 knockouts to his credit. He's the WKBA Super Heavyweight Champion and 4-time Japan K1 Grand Prix Champion from Osaka, Japan, Musashi. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white, trimmed with blue, official weight 106.7 kilograms. His record, 48 victories, 11 defeats with 33 knockouts to his credit. From Auckland, New Zealand, the 5-time martial arts world champion and former K1 World Grand Prix finalist, the Black Leopard from the South Seas, Ray Sugarfoot Sefo!
You might think by that reaction that Ray Sefo was more popular in this town than Musashi, and that just might be true.
Huge star here. He's a very personable guy. He's a big favorite of the fans here, and every time he's been to Japan, he's put on a great show.
Ray Sefo in his 9th K1 Grand Prix finale. We'll take the red corner, Musashi the blue. A rematch of last year's quarterfinal in which Musashi won. And you think these guys are so old because they've been around K1 for so long, but Musashi just 32 years old, Ray Sefo 33.
Prime years for a super heavyweight fighter, particularly the number of fights these guys have in their years fighting. That much experience for 10 years of fighting, it's a lot.
Quarterfinal number 2, the winner will take on Kaoklai Kaennorsing in the semifinals. This is scheduled for 3 rounds, 3 minutes each of hot K1 action. Ray Sefo in the white trunks, in the red gloves, and Musashi with the silver and blue trim.
I think, as we saw last year when these two fought, we're going to have Musashi moving around. He's going to try to use his speed, his chopping kicks. Not known for his knockout power. On defense, he's going to be trying not to get hit by that big Sefo right hand. Sefo with 33 knockouts and 48 wins. He's known for banging people around. Musashi is his target tonight. He's going to try to set him up with the left, come in with the right, and the right roundhouse kick.
If you're going to beat Ray Sefo, you are more likely than not going to outpoint him. I think he is impossible to knock out. You've seen him and former K1 champion Mark Hunt go toe-to-toe at the center of the ring, each throwing the leather big time and smiling every time they get hit.
Sefo almost impossible to knock down, and as a testament to his power, earlier this year in June, knockout in the second round of 360-pound Bob Sapp.
Good action early on. This is the third meeting between these two fighters. They have split the first 2.
Musashi, the loser in 0-0 in 2000 to Sefo, then came back and beat him last year.
Good low punch to the gut by Ray Sefo. Musashi comes right back.
Very much a feeling out round, which you don't see a whole lot because these are just 3 rounders. Both fighters very respectful of one another. And as we saw with Sefo earlier this year and in Las Vegas in August when he knocked out Marvin Eastman, he's just stalking his prey, looking to measure him with the left and land the big right hand and right leg.
No knockdown, a slip by Sefo as he went in for the left roundhouse kick. And just take a look at that crowd in the background. Over 70,000 people here at Tokyo Dome watching this. And if you did not get your tickets in the first couple of hours when they went on sale, you were out of luck. Nice high kick by Sefo, showing his flexibility and now the power as he tries to go inside and take out Musashi. Musashi ties him up.
Sefo making a big impression on the judges here in the last seconds of this round.
And there are the first 3 minutes gone in this 3-round fight. Musashi back to his corner. These two are no strangers to each other. But some final and between round corrections or instructions to Musashi, who again beat Cyril Abidi on September 25th in final elimination event to earn his spot here at the Grand Prix finals.
That fight right here in Tokyo, and on the same night, Ray Sefo decisioning Hiromi Amada to get into this World Grand Prix. This is action from round 1. Nice combination by Musashi, following up the left with the left roundhouse. And you see the smile on Sefo's face like, you're not going to fool me with that one. A lot of leather being thrown, a lot of kicks being launched. Not much damage in round 1.
These are 2 big men. It's going to be very difficult to do any type of damage. You're going to be at the top of your game and land a clean shot for that to happen. Round 2. This is quarterfinal number 2. Kaoklai Kaennorsing defeated Mighty Mo of the United States with a knockout in round number 1. Still to come, the matchup of the night. Remy Bonjasky, the defending champion, taking on 4-time K1 Grand Prix final champion Ernesto Hoost. That's still to come tonight.
Sefo trying to cut the ring off on Musashi now.
Wow, a big miss. That could have ended everything.
Musashi still trying to land that left leg roundhouse kick up to the head. Took down Ray Mercer on a knockdown with that earlier this year before he decisioned Mercer in Nagoya.
I'm impressed with Sefo so far. We've seen him with those techniques the last couple of years, but near the quickness that we've seen here tonight.
As we said earlier, a very trim 235-pound Sefo. Looking like he's realizing that it's not just power, but it's speed that's got to get him through these fights. See too how Sefo is fighting more in spurts than trying to go all out for the entire round. At 33, although he's still in great shape, he's got to measure himself a little bit. He's got to pace. If he beats Musashi here, he's got 2 more fights he's got to win to take this tournament.
You saw just a glimmer of the strength that Musashi has in those legs. He came around with a left roundhouse to the knee of Sefo, and now Sefo rattling that glove like a rattlesnake. He's been known to do that from time to time, and he'll snap out and bite you with it too. Sefo seems to be more at ease when he's showboating like that, Mike.
I think he does it more to help calm himself. You see him, he waves the glove, he smiles at his opponent. That's all for himself. It has no real effect on the opponents.
Oh,
they're in there doing what they got to do.
Quick move by Musashi to grab that attacking leg of Sefo and then try to counterattack. Sefo looking to get inside again. Musashi trying to stay outside and use those long legs to do damage.
You notice Musashi's not trying to punch with Sefo. He's almost entirely trying to set up the left leg roundhouse kick to the head.
Musashi got a left straight into the chin of Musashi after Sefo with the punch. And now they're tied up in the corner. Perhaps the best attack of the night for Ray Sefo.
The only real damage done by either fighter, and again, the left hand gets through the right uppercut. Sefo looks likely to take this round as I think he did the first.
A very strong finish in round 2 for Ray Sefo, and maybe a little bit of hurt being shown by Musashi right there. How could he not? Struck by 2 stiff left hands to the face.
Well, anytime your head snaps back like that, it's done some damage. I don't think Musashi saw either one of those left hands coming. Musashi has got to change his strategy here in this last round. He almost entirely is setting up the left leg roundhouse kick. He's got nothing out in front of it, so it's not really doing any damage. That one kick to the leg is the only one that even landed clean. There you see the left hand by Sefo. He comes back a few seconds later with another left. The right is a glancing blow, but there's the left that gets through. You'll see the uppercut coming right behind it. Or this is the first combination. The second one had an uppercut coming up underneath that again snapped Musashi's head back. I'd have to say the first 2 rounds, although by a slim margin, have gone to Ray Sefo.
Well, now we'll see what Musashi is made of. Perhaps needing this last round, perhaps needing a knockout to win the fight now. Will those head snaps be a wake-up call, or will he turtle? He's not going to turtle. He comes out with a nice kick. It's blocked by Sefo. But Musashi setting the pace early on. Sefo, though, neck and neck with him.
I think Musashi has got to get off first. He keeps waiting for Sefo to land the first blows. The only thing he throws is the left leg roundhouse, and it's just not landing. He's got to come in with some combinations. He's got to break up Sefo's attack.
And now the crowd getting into it. Hard to know really who they're rooting for. Their homegrown Musashi or one of their favorite fighters from New Zealand, Ray Sefo.
Well, this fight is still close, although I'd have given the first 2 rounds to Sefo. Musashi landed the left leg roundhouse right there. Picked up some points again, a good one to the legs.
Oh, a good right hand from Ray Sefo. And then the tying up against the ropes brings the referee in for the break. Constant stand-up action here in the new fighting sport, K1. And now Sefo says, no, you come to me. I'm tired of chasing you.
Well, Sefo's saying, Musashi, you're not fighting. I want to get out here and fight. And, you know, in a way, that's good advice for Musashi. He's got to take the initiative. He's been backpedaling all night. That's not going to win him decisions. Now, that punch was a glancing blow by Sefo, but almost took Musashi out had it landed clean. He's got to keep the gloves up.
Absolutely. And your point to Musashi having to be active, Ray Sefo should be happy that Musashi's hanging back, but Sefo just wants a fight. The judges do reward aggression. And now Musashi comes inside with the knee strike.
Well, he had 2 punches out ahead of it and a good knee strike. Why he's not doing more of that, I just don't know.
And again, it's Musashi backpedaling.
He's got to get off the bicycle. Oh, good spinning back fist. Landed a little bit high up on the glove and the back of the head.
That was so quick from Sefo.
Wasn't in the best spot to do the most damage, but again, it builds up points.
Sefo has finished the first 2 rounds very strong. If he can finish strong here, there's a likelihood he could take this fight.
Oh, good roundhouses by Musashi.
Now Musashi comes on
He's
strong.
got to go hard here in the last half minute of this fight.
Sefo still working his way forward.
Well, what Sefo sees is those gloves are down at Musashi's waist, and he'd love to land a right hand over top. Oh, good left by Sefo.
That's been his best punch this fight. Final seconds of the 3rd round.
Musashi's got to go.
And that is the end of the scheduled 3rd round. Musashi with his arms upraised. Sefo feeling confident going back to his corner.
This was a close fight, Lon. I'd have to give it to Sefo on decision for his aggression and the punches that he landed. However, Musashi, a lot of roundhouse kicks that slipped in. That's one of them. He had another one later in the round to the knee. Musashi's best round was the 3rd round.
The fire in the eye of Sefo, something we haven't seen like that. That was a good roundhouse high kick from Musashi.
And those kicks are so powerful that even if they hit on the wrist like that one just did, it's still, the force of it takes the hand, just right there you can see it. It takes it into the head, and you see Sefo nodding his head like, yeah, good shot, did some damage. We'll see if it's enough in the 3rd round to catch Musashi up on these judges' scorecards, give him a decision, maybe a draw, who knows, but something to bring him closer to the lead that Sefo undoubtedly built up in the first 2 rounds.
All right, we have a decision from the judges.
Judge 29対28.5 ドロー。ジャッジ黒住達也30対30ドロー。ジャッジ武井明人
Well, you mentioned draw, and that's exactly what we have through the first 3 rounds. The judges do have the option to say, we want more action, and they are going to send these fighters into a 4th round.
Well, as I said, it was a close fight, and it could have gone either way, or it could have gone right down the middle, and I think it's just as you say. The judges just decided we want to see more from these 2 fighters before we decide.
We want a decisive victory is what the judges seem to be saying. We've seen this a number of times. They have the option to give an extra round. And now to make their decision, it will be round 4 and round 4 only that will decide who moves through into the semifinals versus the Thai fighter Kaoklai Kaennorsing. Final 3 minutes. Sefo had been the aggressor through most of the fight. Musashi got enough of his kicks in to lend credence to this 4th round.
Now, in an extra round like that, every blow that these fighters launch is important. They're calculated against each other. Punch for punch, kick for kick. The judges know they've got to pick a winner in this round. They're going to look very closely at everything.
And now the action heats up. Musashi trying to get the leg kicks and the knee strikes in. Sefo willing and able to rely on the gloves.
Good leg kick by Sefo, followed up by a round kick by Musashi.
Good counterattack by Musashi. And now the best action of the fight here in the 4th.
They got to let it all go now. There's no round after this one if they don't win.
Oh boy, Sefo had an opening there. Just a glancing blow off the chin of Musashi.
Musashi now coming in with a good right hand over top. Set up a knee strike, no real damage. Sefo misses with that roundhouse, but lands the right hand. Musashi comes back with the right in the roundhouse. They're both keeping it close.
Oh, and a low kick from Sefo. And so Musashi will get all the time he needs to recover from that. I was just about to mention that Ray Sefo might do himself some good by kicking more and trying to match the kicks of Musashi, because if he can even up that in the judges' minds, Sefo certainly has the advantage with the gloves and could win the fight. But a definite low blow with that kick by Ray Sefo.
Sefo has only kicked low in this fight. All his kicks have been to the legs. Musashi carries those gloves very low. Sefo might think about bringing one of those kicks up top.
And Musashi may be the victim of Ray Sefo's indecision to go down low or go up high with that kick, and unfortunately split the difference. And Musashi hurting a bit there, but he'll try to shake it off. He says he's okay.
They'll give him time to recover. The fight cannot be given to Sefo on a low kick unless it's an intentional low kick, which they have not ruled it was. If Musashi cannot continue, the fight will go to Sefo.
I don't think that is going to happen. Musashi just needs a breather, and now his step forward indicates he's ready to go and continue action here in the extra round of quarterfinal number 2.
We're about halfway through it, and it is very close again. I'd hate to have to pick a winner at this point in the round.
Again, Sefo with a low kick and follows up with a 1-2 punch.
Musashi surprisingly becoming the aggressor here in this round, not letting Sefo always get off first. Sefo continuing to go low with the kicks, not trying to go up top. Those gloves are so low. Musashi.
Very inviting for Ray Sefo to try to go up top.
And he finally tried, but he just fell too short.
Musashi, a big man, 6'1".
Sefo with not particularly long legs. He's really got to reach to get up there. Looks like Sefo's going back to the hands now. Musashi again setting up the left leg roundhouse.
Sefo getting a little bit out of shape with that, and now Sefo going to the head with the punches.
Big flurry by Sefo. Oh, knee strike by Musashi. Musashi much more aggressive in this round. He's used a bigger variety of techniques.
Both fighters very aggressive here in round number 4. Ray Sefo now drooping his shoulders, looking a little bit fatigued.
Musashi looking much more in control in this round than he has previously in the fight. Lands the right hand. Sefo a little desperate now.
Sefo landing only one of about 4 punches he throws, and that is the end of round number 4. And this is really very close. That is the best round of the fight, and perhaps the closest one. Ray Sefo was not able to take advantage of the final few seconds as he did in the previous rounds.
Well, that final round could go either way, but it may very well be Musashi's round, just on the fact that Sefo began to fatigue in the last minute, and Musashi kept going strong throughout.
Breathing deep. I need more boxing, but this is the first fight, so it's okay.
Well, good combinations by Sefo, landed 2 or 3 punches, but Musashi comes back. Certainly Musashi's best round of the fight.
Oh, I thought Musashi looked fairly fresh there in round number 4. He's countering everything that Sefo throws at him. I don't know that he's getting the best of it, but he's certainly staying even with Ray Sefo. And now let's get a decision. Musashi! And now Judge 2. Musashi has taken the fight with the extra round. 2 out of 3 judges score it for the Japanese fighter. And it is a unanimous decision for Musashi over Ray Sefo. Sefo once again a victim of the Japanese fighter for the 2nd year in a row. So now the crowd and we get set for quarterfinal number 3. Peter Aerts and Francois Botha.
It's
It's an unpredictable matchup between another legendary Dutchman, Peter Aerts, and Francois, the White Buffalo Botha from South Africa. This is the first meeting between the two stars who have peaked, dipped, and are on the ascent again. Both of these men have the tough-mindedness it takes to get to the top of a sport and stay for a while. Both have massive knockout punches as well. Aerts might be best known to the general public as the chin at the end of Stefan Leko's killer fist. The spectacular felling of the Dutch lumberjack was replayed over and over and became an ESPN Sports Moment of the Year. Aerts as victim in a misleading image, though. He's one of the original K1 superstars, and because of this, a long-standing favorite with the Japanese public. Way up there in Ernesto Hoost's league, Aerts has had the same kind of spectacular dominance in the sport. He's scooped up the World Grand Prix title 3 times already. Last December saw the fighter looking dangerous again. His superior combinations and timing looked to still be well intact and earned him a significant victory over the deadly Alexei Ignashov. But then he lost in the semifinal round to a fresher and quicker Musashi. Aerts defeated Michael McDonald by decision at final elimination, earning his 12th trip to Tokyo Dome more than any other fighter. Aerts now steps into the ring with Francois the White Buffalo Botha. Botha is a powerhouse originating from the sweet science of boxing. He's already risen to the top ranks of that world. Botha's early K1 appearances mixed up losses with disqualification. With nothing if not tenacious, Botha now looks to be turning it around. Botha earned a berth in the final 8 by stopping one of the sport's most aggressive fighters, Frenchman Jérôme at final elimination in September. Who'll show the true grit when these two lock horns? It's anyone's guess. And now we begin the bottom half of the draw with quarterfinal number 3. The White Buffalo, Francois Botha from South Africa, taking on 3-time K1 World Grand Prix final champion Peter Aerts.
Quarterfinal match number 3. From the blue gate, Francois the White Buffalo Botha.
Coming from the blue gate, Francois, the White Buffalo
Botha! Former IBF heavyweight boxing champ turned K1 champion to be, at least a wannabe, Francois Botha. He knows how to play to a big crowd. He's been there before in the boxing arena.
Still considered up to a few years ago a top boxing prospect. Looking at a title fight in his near future, he decided to go with K1 fighting instead. Only boxing losses ever were to the very top guys, Tyson, Lewis, Klitschko, and Mora. Had a little bit of a rough time in K1 fighting. Some losses to Abidi, Fujimoto, Bonjasky early on, but a stunning win, September 25th, TKO over Jérôme put him into this Grand Prix World Championship.
Yeah, I was wondering about that fight. Was it luck, or is this new K1 warrior finding his stride in the new fighting sport? And if he is learning how to battle here in this K1 arena, he is definitely the wild card to watch tonight.
Lon, you'd have to think that after 2 years into this, he's beginning to get the hang of the differences between kicking and just boxing. He's faced some of the best kickers in the sport. His comments about Aerts is, I got to watch for his kicks. He's going after my legs, but I'll know what to do.
Botha is new to K1, as we've mentioned, but only Ernesto Hoost is older in this field by 3 years. Francois White Buffalo Botha.
From the red gate, Hater, the lumberjack Aerts.
Everybody be cool,
Three-time K1 World Grand Prix champion Peter Aerts. He has fought in all 12 K1 Grand Prix final events, an amazing record.
But when you think of K1 in the Grand Prix, you think of two guys, Aerts and Hoost. No one's been there more than Peter Aerts. Three-time winner in 94, 95, and 98. He wants to get back on track. He's got to get back on track. This is 2004. If he's going to do it, he needs to do it now. 34 years of age. His career is at its peak. Peter Aerts has got to establish himself tonight as the man that's still there, that can still compete with Hoost and the new guys like Bonjasky.
3 rounds, K1 tournament rules, quarter-final match number 3. Introducing first, in the blue corner, wearing black, official weight 118.5 kilograms. His boxing record, 44 victories, 5 defeats, 2 draws with 28 knockouts. From Durban, South Africa, the former IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Francois, the White Buffalo Botha. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue with red, official weight 104.8 kilograms. His record, 78 victories, 22 defeats, 1 draw, 57 knockouts. From Bonn, Holland, the 3-time K1 World Grand Prix champion, Peter the Lumberjack
We've talked about how popular race Sefo is, but he doesn't hold a candle to Peter Aerts here in Japan, the 3-time K1 World Grand Prix champion. But he has been slowed a bit by the grindstone that combat sports are. The injuries piling up the last few years, but hey, you got to give it to him, Mike. He's here in the final.
He is. Although he's 6'4" tall, he's a little bit light for super heavyweight standards, 231 pounds. He's given up 30 pounds to Botha. One thing Aerts has going for him, though, that can never be denied is few people have the experience in this kind of fighting and at this level that Aerts does. 101 fights for Peter Aerts.
A highly anticipated battle here in Tokyo between Aerts in the blue and red trunks and Francois Botha in the black. As we said, Botha new to this sport. He did have a bit of a wild streak early on with some disqualifications. He certainly knows how to use the gloves. The legs have been coming on, so again, I believe he could be a wild card.
Well, I think the turning point may have been that fight with LeBanner in September. He seems to be more comfortable in the ring. A good right hand pushes Aerts back. Kind of hit him on the shoulder.
Of course, Aerts, the essence of a kickboxer, both coming from a very strong boxing background, as we've mentioned.
Aerts, as expected, is going right to the legs. Oh, Aerts has injured himself.
Aerts, and that is part of the danger of kickboxing, is when you throw that kick, if you hit bone on bone or bone on some part of that foot, that is trouble.
Well, for Peter Aerts to turn and take voluntarily a count like that, you know that Aerts is hurt badly.
Oh, he can't kick. He tried to kick, and that is it. The referee waves it off. Peter Aerts injures himself attacking Francois Botha, and Botha is declared the winner of this quarterfinal.
Something has happened to Peter Aerts that is very serious. We've seen him fight with pain, fight with injury. This has to be something very serious. He may have come into this fight with a broken foot or something and just didn't say anything. We don't know yet.
Well, a very visibly disappointed Peter Aerts going to hardly walk on that foot. And for a warrior who has been through all 12 K1 Grand Prix championship events, for him just to turn, as you said, Mike, and walk away, that has to be something very damaging to the foot. Let's see if we can get an eye on what happened.
Well, here's the kick, and it really doesn't look like he hits anything, doesn't hit the knee, doesn't hit the hip bone. That's usually where you see a break occur. He landed on the soft part of the thigh, exactly what he was aiming for, and he hit it on his foot exactly where he should.
Well, the knee, the side of the knee perhaps acted as a fulcrum, and maybe that force bent the foot forward, pulled or tore a tendon of some sort. We're only speculating here, but there is no guessing that Peter Aerts hurt himself with this attack. And then he tried again to kick just a few seconds later, and he knew he was done. He dropped the mouthpiece, and he had to limp away. Peter Aerts very disappointed, as are all K1 fans. Up next, Bonjasky and Hoost. It's red blood against blue blood. The upstart challenges K1 royalty in one of the competition's most exciting matchups ever. The speculation's been rife for years now. Is Bonjasky the next Hoost? K1 has created a whole new breed of superstar, but none have achieved more than Holland's Ernesto Hoost. With a record 4 World Grand Prix titles under his belt, the 39-year-old kickboxer has defined the meaning of greatness in K1, and he's not ready to quit. In 2002, Hoost won his 4th Grand Prix title, but not before having it nearly snatched away by the runaway freight train known as Bob the Beast Sap. The invincible aura looked like it might finally be evaporating. Was Hoost still Mr. Perfect? He did rebound from that humiliation and win the 2002 crown. And he's lately reeled off 8 consecutive K1 victories. It's a demonstration that superior technique brings true staying power along with it. At final elimination, Hoost's last hurdle towards his drive for 5 at this year's Grand Prix final was Brazil's Glauber Feitosa. And it was a very fit Hoost who won by unanimous decision to advance. 2003 year was pure success for Bonjasky. He stopped Bjorn Breggy. He thrilled a sellout audience in Las Vegas with a jumping front kick first-round knockout of Vernon Tiger White. A leaping straight knee took out American contender Jeff Big Diesel Ford. He matched and bettered the favorite Michael McDonald to cap off that night. No nickname has managed to stick with this much-discussed fighter. Is there no superlative big enough to describe this rising star? Unlike Hoost, Bonjasky was able to find the chink in Sap's armor. An intelligent strategist, the young fighter wore the beast down before those big clubs could start swinging. The frustration was just too much for Sap. After a succession of cracking knee blasts, the American resorted to hitting the Dutchman after he slipped down. The illegal blows disqualified Sap and gave Bonjasky the fast track to victory. It all culminated in a gold crown last December in Tokyo Dome as Bonjasky beat Peter Graham, Cyril Abidi, and Musashi to win his first K1 world title. Who will intimidate who in this pairing? Both have a cool head in the ring. Hoost has the technical supremacy and the experience. Bonjasky has the raw youth and power and the advantage in weight and height. He can also produce the aerial pyrotechnics. Will Hoost have an answer for this? He's riding high, but K1 history shows that could be the moment of greatest weakness. And now the last of our quarterfinals, the most anticipated fight of the night. 4-time Grand Prix final champion Ernesto Hoost of Holland taking on the defending K1 Grand Prix champion Remy Bonjasky.
Quarterfinal match number 4. From the blue gate, Ernesto Hoost.
Coming from the blue gate, K1 4-time champion, Mr. Perfect, Ernesto
K1's only 4-time Grand Prix final champion, Holland's Ernesto Hoost. He is K1.
four-time winner of the Grand Prix, Ernesto Hoost, last one in 2002.
He lost twice before that 2002 champion to Bob Sapp, but since then 8 consecutive victories rolled off by Ernesto Hoost, and Mr. Perfect indeed.
Grand Prix winner in 1997, 99, 2000, and 2002. Remarkably, in 2002, at 37 years of age.
Tonight, he could become the oldest K1 event winner. Branko Cikatic won the inaugural K1 crown in 1993 at age 38. Tonight, Ernesto Hoost just a few months shy of his 40th birthday. Ernesto Hoost, Mr. Perfect, looking for number 5.
Entering from the red gate, the flying gentleman, Remy Bonjasky.
Coming from the red gate, Remy, the flying gentleman.
The 28-year-old defending K1 Grand Prix champion Remy Bonjasky was the favorite all last year and lived up to his promise and abilities. Tonight is a chance to go double, back-to-back for Remy Bonjasky if he can win it all tonight.
Well, since his loss by decision to Francisco Filo back in May, he's knocked off 3 straight victories over Botha in June, his win over Katu in July, and then his stunning knockout over Akabono September 25th here in Tokyo has not only put him into this championship once again, but it's also given him again the favorite's role in the Grand Prix championship and the confidence that he'll need to take it all tonight.
They're calling this the old guard versus the new guard. They've been talking about Remy Bonjasky taking the mantle from Ernesto Hoost as far as K1 and Dutch fighters go. But Ernesto Hoost says he is going to have to earn it to take it away from me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is K1 Tournament quarterfinal match number 4. K1 rules 3 rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue and white, official weight 102.6 kilograms. His record, 96 victories, 16 defeats, 1 draw with 61 knockouts. From Holland, the 4-time K1 World Grand Prix champion, Mr. Perfect, Ernesto across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue with white, official weight 103 kilograms. His record, 49 victories, 10 defeats with 30 knockouts to his credit. From Almere, Holland, the former WPKA Super Heavyweight Champion, K1 Las Vegas 2003 champion, and defending 2003 K1 World Grand Prix champion, the Flying Gentleman, Remy Bonjasky.
レフェリー友武隆夫、ジャッジは水岡雅人、黒住達也、大成淳が務めます。
Only one up is next. Only one. Great. Good fight.
Remy Bonjasky, before the fight tonight, said he's going to approach this like it's his only fight of the night, like it's a super fight. He also says it's time Ernesto retires.
Ernesto's comeback was, well, I'm the old champ, he's the new champ, but when I beat him tonight, I'll be the new champ once again.
Amazingly enough, for these two prominent Dutch K1 fighters, this is the first time they have met in the ring. Ernesto Hoost with the blue gloves. Remy Bonjasky in the red corner and the red gloves. 3 rounds, 3 minutes each. The winner will take on Francois Botha in the second semifinal, and immediately Hoost comes out with the kick to the thigh. No knockdown. Bonjasky will bring a varied attack. He'll surprise you at times. Hoost, the old guard, the oldest fighter in K1. He knows how to pepper you, how to wear you down, how to outpoint you.
Well, there is no one with more experience in big fights and big events like this one than Ernesto Hoost. Been around a long time, fought a lot of tough people. He's got wins over Labanner, Greco, Aerts, you name it. But Bonjasky has youth on his side, and he's got speed.
No knockdown, just a shove. And Hoost is right there waiting for him to get up, and Hoost goes straight with the right to the gut.
Hoost doing exactly what he should to neutralize the greater speed of Bonjasky. He's getting off first. He's going to the body. Tricks like that you only learn when you've had 120 fights.
Perfect.
All of that's taken a toll on Bonjasky. It's gonna wear him down as these rounds go on.
A perfect maneuver from Mr. Perfect. Halfway through the opening round, Ernesto Hoost shows he's going to be right there front and center for whatever the defending champion could bring. Bonjasky starting to be a little bit more quiet. Maybe we'll pick and choose. And now he'll go up top. Not a strong puncher is Bonjasky, so Hoost is really not going to worry too much about that. But it's the leg kicks, the knee strikes that will be trouble. Hoost now backing Bonjasky into the corner.
Well, as a testament to what experience can do for you, those last 2 clashes were won by Hoost, even though he didn't get in till the end of them and he threw fewer techniques.
At ringside, you see Hoost's girlfriend, Doreen Kluft, looking on very anxiously, but no stranger to these fights.
Bonjasky much more cautious now than earlier in the round.
Final 30 seconds of round number 1. Ernesto Hoost seems to have drunk from the fountain of youth before tonight, looking very spry, very healthy. He has not been healthy at some K1 events in the past. He looks to be in top form so far. But stamina is another key factor in any K1 tournament, and that still is a story yet to be told. Oh, and there's the attempted knee strike by Remy Bonjasky, just missed its mark. The end of round number 1, scheduled for 3.
Bonjasky appearing to be the more slightly built of the 2 fighters. However, he's 2 inches taller, and remarkably enough, looking at the 2 of them, he outweighs Hoost by a pound. Gonna get at Doreen Kluft, anxiously wanting her man to get the upper hand early. See, this flurry, really nothing landed that Bonjasky threw, but Hoost comes in at the end with a good leg kick. It's experience that allows him to weather the storm and take back the advantage right at the end of the clash, and that's what the judges remember, is what they see last. Good defense by Bonjasky. From the time we first saw him out here, he's learned a lot, mostly about defense.
Round number 2, the last of our 4 quarterfinal matchups here in this K1 World Grand Prix Final 2004. Lon McCarron along with Mike Sawyer. Hope you're enjoying the tremendous action coming your way from Tokyo Dome in Japan.
So far, Hoost has been the better fighter in this fight. He's won the first round, in my opinion. He's been stalking Bonjasky effectively, neutralizing Bonjasky's attacks, which are arguably the most agile and quickest in the sport.
Hoost effectively tying up Bonjasky, gets off quicker that time, scores to the top of the head, and then a quick wraparound roundhouse right. Bonjasky seems befuddled at this point.
Bonjasky is getting crossed up. Hoost gets set, and right when Bonjasky begins his attack, Hoost gets off first. Hoost knows he's not the faster fighter. He's doing it with timing instead.
He's been the smarter fighter so far. Bonjasky really has dominated the K1 circuit in the last 12 months, certainly, and before that as well, all of last year. But he has never met Ernesto Hoost. And now maybe some of that inexperience in the ring beginning to show against the experienced of all experienced fighters.
Oh, good roundhouse kick by Hoost. Bonjasky wanted to shake it off, or show he did, by moving in afterwards, but it landed. A lot of parallels drawn between these two fighters. Bonjasky being the reincarnation of Hoost 2 decades later. But in fact, Hoost's style was never really like Bonjasky's is. They call him the flying gentleman Bonjasky because of those flying kicks, and it's something that Hoost never really took to in his career.
A rabbit punch to the back of the head by Bonjasky, looking for any opening he can find. Slaps at Hoost there with his left. Moving into the semifinals. How could you not be damaged goods anytime you move into the semifinals?
As they say, no one wins, just one person loses less than the other.
You're right. Round number 3. Ernesto Hoost, the 4-time Grand Prix champion, taking on Remy Bonjasky, the defending champion. Bonjasky in the red gloves, now beginning to pepper away with his best weapon, his legs.
Tremendous speed by Remy Bonjasky. This is trouble for Hoost. Bonjasky's pulling out all the stops here in the third. Bonjasky is literally just so fast that even if you block a few of them, you'll never get them all. If he keeps going like that all through this round, that could be what makes the difference. But instead he backs off, gives it back to Hoost.
Well, Bonjasky knows that Hoost is a smart enough fighter not to open himself up to a knockout, so you're most likely going to go 3 rounds at least with him. Maybe Bonjasky saving his strength for the last round when Hoost is at his worst. A little bit of blood coming from the nose of Ernesto Hoost.
Hoost neutralizing the leg kicks. I've never seen Hoost fight as well strategically as he has in this fight with Bonjasky.
And strategy may be what Bonjasky is using now, trying to work away at the older fighter who has been through 2 very active rounds so far. And now Hoost trying to tie Bonjasky up. He is successful halfway through the final round.
Well, he's jamming Bonjasky. Every time it looks like Bonjasky's going to get himself off the canvas with those flying kicks, Hoost just moves in. Even if he doesn't throw anything, he just moves in and jams him where he can't get off.
And now Hoost goes down more from backing off quickly more than anything else. 8 of the 11 past champions in K1 are Dutch fighters. Hoost has 4 of them, Aerts 3, Bonjasky 1. 3 Dutch fighters entered the field tonight. And here 2 of them meeting up in the last quarterfinal.
Good roundhouse kick led off that exchange by Hoost, and Hoost again now stalking Bonjasky. Bonjasky laying back. He can't do that if he's going to have a chance of pulling out ahead. Bonjasky's got to be the aggressor. He's got to use his speed. Instead, it's Hoost that's getting off first and bringing in the fight close and jamming Bonjasky up still.
And Hoost, the better of the 2 punchers. And if he can negate the knee strikes, moving close to Bonjasky, I think Hoost could win the punching matchup.
See how he just gets inside and just ties him up where Bonjasky can't get going.
Amazing flexibility and strength from Bonjasky. And now the legs beginning to fly back and forth.
Closing seconds. Bonjasky got to go.
And that is the end of round number 3. A certainly much more active 3rd round for our defending champion, Remy Bonjasky. A little bit slower activity from Ernesto Hoost. And maybe a bit cry of disdain from Hoost's supporters at ringside.
I think Hoost took the fight very, very close. Hoost went down. Nothing really hit him. He took the kick on the elbow. That's one of Bonjasky's classic techniques that he throws is right under the arm, the roundhouse kick, but Hoost is wise to it. Hoost just blocking everything during this fight, all the roundhouse kicks. He only took 1 or 2. It's a close fight, but I think I'd give it to Hoost.
Tactically near perfection from Mr. Perfect, Ernesto Hoost. But the decision now in the hands of our 3 judges at ringside. Ernesto Hoost and Remy Bonjasky now come center ring, and let's hear the decision.
Judge Mizaoka 29対28.5 ドロー。ジャッジ黒住 29.5 対 29.5 ドロー。ジャッジ大谷 29.5 対 29 ドロー。
And we have seen that maneuver once before. We are going to see a 4th round between Bonjasky and Hoost.
Can't argue with that. It was a close enough fight.
And they do call the draw through the first 3. And so this 4th round will decide this fight and perhaps what they're calling the championship of Holland tonight.
Tell you, I don't mind. I'd like to see another round between these 2.
Oh, yeah.
Some excellent fighting out there. I'd like to know who would take the upper hand if they have to go all out for 1 round.
And here we start to find out the beginning of this final 3 minutes. Ernesto Hoost with the blue glove versus Remy Bonjasky.
Clean slate here for both. This round's going to decide it all.
Bonjasky now going up top, trading punches with Ernesto Hoost. And now Bonjasky on the offensive comes forward. It's Hoost backpedaling.
He's got to do it. Bonjasky's got to let it all go. He can't save anything in reserve for the next round. If he doesn't get past this round, there won't be any more. Can't lay back. Every time he does, like he is now, it's Hoost who builds up the points.
Oh, and now Ernesto goes to work.
Good punching combinations inside. Bonjasky doing the only thing he can. He ties up Hoost and knees to the underbelly.
Oh, every time that happens, though, I feel Bonjasky is like a spring that you wind in the opposite direction. And the longer you wait, the harder it's going to spring back at you.
Hoost breathing a little heavy now. Conditioning could be a factor in the last half of this round.
Maybe exactly what Remy Bonjasky planned on.
Hoost has neutralized the flying kicks of Bonjasky. Bonjasky's got to work inside.
Now Bonjasky coming, trying to pepper away at Ernesto Hoost. His fellow countryman ties him up at the center of the ring.
One good strong blow from either fighter could decide this fight, if not on knockout by enough points on the judges' cards.
Now Hoost with that straight kick. We have not seen Bonjasky really able to open up, and then a right uppercut jerks the head of Hoost.
Easily the best punch for Bonjasky in this fight. He follows up with a leg kick that staggers Hoost momentarily.
That might be just what you were talking about, Mike Sawyer, the exact thing that the judges were looking for.
Well, that's all Bonjasky needed. I'd have him ahead now by a slight margin. If he can hold on, he should take the round.
Ernesto Hoost slowing down noticeably now here in the 4th round. This 39-year-old fighter just months away from age 40.
His punches don't have anything on him anymore.
Oh, and a good knee strike and kick from Remy Bonjasky.
Hoost knows he's behind now. He's trying to come forward. He just doesn't have the gas left. Those punches are mostly arm punches now.
Final 30 seconds of the 4th round.
Bonjasky stalking the older fighter. Bonjasky just hanging on with enough to win.
Ernesto Hoost cannot find an opening in the much more active Bonjasky. Going low with the kicks, but they will have no effect on Bonjasky at this point. 5 seconds left in the 4th round. Ernesto Hoost needs magic.
Bonjasky just needs to not get caught with anything, and he's got it.
And that is the end of the extra round. Remy Bonjasky has to feel very satisfied with that last 3 minutes.
No question in my mind, Bonjasky took that last round with that flurry that we saw, the punch-kick combination. Hoost visibly staggered from it. Everyone saw it. It should give this, it should be the difference in this fight and give him his pass to the next round. Hoost earlier in the round with good flurries. just really punched himself out and ran out of gas in the last half of this extra round.
There was no opening, Mike. There was nowhere he could hit to hurt Bonjasky, and then Bonjasky with the best punch of the fight.
He followed that up with a roundhouse kick we didn't see on the replay, but there's the uppercut. Now the roundhouse kick comes behind it on the hip, staggers Hoost even more.
10対 9.5 赤レミー・ボンヤスキー
Bonjasky gets one vote.
9.5 赤レミー・ボンヤスキー
And Bonjasky gets 2 judges. And we wait, and the 3rd judge gives it to Remy Bonjasky. Unanimous 4-round decision for the defending champion over the 4-time former champ, Ernesto Hoost. Remy Bonjasky defeating his fellow countrymen in their first matchup. Hoost is not happy with the decision, but he's going to have to live with it.
I think Ernesto Hoost is experienced enough to know that that could have gone either way, but he knows what he got hit with in that extra round. He knows how this game works. Judges see something that impresses them strongly, something that really does some damage. You can't argue with it. He got hit with it in that extra round. He knows it happened. Ernesto Hoost is just disappointed.
And every time you see this, you wonder now, is it the last time we will see Ernesto Hoost? He looked good through 3. He tired in the 4th and defeated by Remy Bonjasky, who will move through to the semifinals to take on the White Buffalo, Francois Botha. And now Hoost making that emotional exit. Bonjasky did not want a 4th round in that quarterfinal matchup. He now will have to take a quick recovery and work his way to the semifinal. The semifinal, number 1, Kaoklai and Musashi coming up next. Japan's Musashi will be taking on the Thai fighter. Each one looking, of course, for their first K1 Grand Prix final.
Tadaima yori Aerts K1 World Grand Prix 2004 tournament 準決勝を行います。
From the blue stage, Musashi!
Entering from the blue stage, Musashi!
Entering Tokyo Dome now is Musashi, Japan's favorite son, coming in after a decision over Sefo for the 2nd year in a row in the quarterfinals. Musashi.
Well, we saw him with ice on his right thigh back there in the dressing room, so he didn't come through that fight with Sefo unscathed. But he does look pretty fresh for someone who just fought Sugarfoot Sefo. Looks like he's ready for this battle with Kaoklai, which is not going to be an easy fight from the looks of Kaoklai in his quarterfinal bout.
This is where the heart of a K1 fighter really comes front and center. After you've gone 3, maybe more rounds in the quarterfinal, you do not have that much of a break to rest up, get your mental faculties ready, get prepared for your next opponent, and get back into that ring for 3 more rounds of brutal battle at minimum. Musashi greeting his fans on his walk out. He can only take strength from them, I would think, at this point.
Tremendous support from Musashi here in Tokyo. That means a lot to a fighter.
Now it's time to center and focus his energies on what's to come.
How much of a factor will the 4 tough rounds Musashi had to fight in that battle with Sefo affect him going into this semifinal bout? Kaoklai only having fought 2 minutes and 40 seconds so far tonight.
Musashi looking for another trip to the finals.
From the red stage, Kaoklai Kaennorsing.
Thai fighters known throughout the world as perhaps the best conditioned combatants in the ring anywhere. And Kaoklai came in with that advantage. And then, as you mentioned, Mike, maybe the added advantage of having to go less than 1 full round in his quarterfinal matchup. So despite his smaller size at 174 pounds, he maybe is the freshest and strongest fighter still remaining in this field.
I would certainly think so. Sometimes it can be a disadvantage. You've got other fighters that you're going to be facing that have fought more, and they're warmed up. They've gotten into the rhythm. They've gotten into the flow. Kaoklai was just getting going in round 1, just 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and it's all over. And then he had to wait for 3 more bouts to be done before he could get back in there, get re-warmed up, get his head back into fighting. We'll see if it's affected him or not. One thing about Kaoklai, too, that's notable is at 174 pounds, Lon, I think he's about the biggest Muay Thai fighter that we have ever seen from Thailand. But typically, they max out at about 145, 150 pounds.
Yeah, and they get down about 109, 110 as well. So I'm sure he's worked his way up through what is Thailand's Little League in effect. As you mentioned, 70 fights plus already for this 21-year-old fighter.
It may explain, too, why he seems more familiar with the type of fighting that he sees here than with strict Muay Thai fighting from Thailand. He probably has had to fight a lot of foreign fighters that have been brought into Thailand to fight him, since there are so few people in Thailand that would be his size.
We saw his lethal, sneaky attack on Mighty Mo in the first quarterfinal tonight. A flying kick flush with his shin to the side of the face of Mighty Mo and knocked out the big American fighter. He has had plenty of time to rest, to reflect, and to regain probably that nervousness and fear he felt before he came to Tokyo Dome.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3-round K1 tournament rules applying. This is our first semifinal match. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing silver. You met him before. He is the pride of Osaka, Japan, Musashi. And his opponent across the ring in the red corner, also having been introduced before in the quarterfinal match, is the pride of Thailand, Kaoklai Kaennorsing.
Referee は大なります。
ジャッジは水岡正人、黒住達也、友武隆夫が務めます。
One of these men will earn their way into the championship bout of this 2004 K1 World Grand Prix final. Kaoklai, Kaennorsing, or Japan's Musashi. And a final prayer for the Thai fighter who fights in the heart of Thailand in Bangkok. 3 scheduled rounds, 3 minutes each, and here we go. Kaoklai with the red gloves, Musashi in the blue, and the silver trunks with blue trim.
Good lead in by Kaoklai. Good fast half round, half side kick. Testing Musashi. Just to see the reaction of the Japanese fighter.
Kaoklai had the perfect opening fight, I think, to send a message to the rest of this field. Yes, I'm the smallest one, but I'm really the only one with a legitimate knockout tonight, guys.
He's the only fighter, too, in this field that can match the speed of Bonjasky. Thai fighters not known for knockouts with their hands. Almost everything is with the legs. The hands are for blocking and setting up the kicks. Good roundhouse to the midsection. Musashi trying to shake it off. Oh, what a front kick by Musashi.
And while Musashi's foot was in Kaoklai's face, Kaoklai fired back with a right roundhouse leg kick of his own.
He did. I mean, that's just instinct to try to show that you're not hurt that bad, but you saw even Kaoklai acknowledge that with a glove tap.
Musashi, I think, is going to have the upper hand with the gloves. Well, just as I say that, Kaoklai lands a short right cross to the chin of Musashi.
He did. It showed, though, the limitation, too. That punch had nothing on it. Musashi's grinned a little bit. I think Kaoklai, if he wins this bout, it's going to be with the legs.
Kaoklai having to jump to throw that kick.
That is a legal technique that Musashi just did. You can take out the supporting leg.
But still a tap with the gloves. And now Kaoklai sees that Musashi off balance, runs to attack. Musashi held on to that leg just a little bit too long. But
he did. You have to counter right away. I think, though, Kaoklai's got to realize he's got to snap those kicks back, and he can't leave them in the rib cage.
Okay, maybe Kaoklai's also thinking he's got to make a decisive victory here against a Japanese fighter in Japan, because when you come into Thailand to fight a Thai fighter, you have to make a decisive victory yourself.
We've seen that.
So both fighters know exactly what's expected of them.
Now, part of it is the local crowd and the judges. The local judges are familiar with a particular type of style. But Kaoklai seems to be very familiar with the kind of fighting that he's into. He's circling the ring well, launching the kicks. He's blocking well. It's a nice roundhouse by Musashi, but picked off by Kaoklai.
A little bit low on the kick by Kaoklai at the end of round number 1, and the tap with the gloves. No damage done to Musashi, who's already been hit with a low blow tonight. That one had no effect. End of round number 1, an entertaining one. And I'm really excited to see a Thai fighter here in these K1 finals, Mike.
Well, it is, particularly one that seems to know what he's doing in this type of fighting like Kaoklai does. Now, that front kick to the face, we'll see it again right here. It's just right on the button. I think it even surprised Musashi that he landed with it. It's a front leg, so it didn't have much hip torque behind it. The back leg may have taken the Thai fighter out. There's no question that it hurt him, though, and built up some nice points for Musashi. That roundhouse kick was misjudged by Kaoklai. He got the arm up, but a little too much to the outside. 2 good head kicks in that round by Musashi. Certainly to have put him ahead on the judges' cards.
So The early tip of the scales to Musashi here in our first semifinal matchup. Still to come, Francois Botha of South Africa taking on the defending champion Remy Bonjasky. And Musashi opens up round 2 with a nice left roundhouse leg kick to the ribcage of Kaoklai.
Virtually all of Musashi's kicks are delivered with the left leg. Fights southpaw almost exclusively. Something that Kaoklai can use to his advantage if he realizes it and begins to work on it. He's always got